Welcome to the Midnight Medical Coding Podcast, where we talk all things medical coding. My name is Lindsay Dellavella, and I'm a medical coding instructor, and I created this series to educate people who are interested in medical coding, and it's also geared towards medical coding students. You'll hear a series of discussions that will break down essential concepts, tips, and strategies to help you along the way. And just so you guys know, the voices you hear are AI generated, but it's based on my social media content and website, so you can find similar information there. Okay, let's get started.
Okay, so let's talk about navigating complexity. Sometimes finding information, well, it feels like looking for a needle in a haystack, right?
Absolutely. Especially with detailed technical stuff. Medical coding annuals are a prime example.
Exactly. So our mission today, what we're doing, is diving into an excerpt. It's from a YouTube video transcript.
Okay.
And it focuses on the ICD-10-CM coding guidelines. We're going to, really look at the source, figure out the must-know details about where exactly these crucial guidelines live inside the actual physical coding book.
Gotcha.
Apparently, this transcript gives a surprisingly specific roadmap, almost like coordinates for finding them.
That's right. And honestly, for anyone using the ICD-10-CM book, knowing exactly where those official guidelines are, it's fundamental.
Yeah.
It's not just, finding info. It's finding the right info quickly, accurately. And this source, it sounds like it gives us a direct map, helps cut through the potential confusion of a big manual.
Okay, so let's get into it. According to this transcript, the first key spot it points out.
Yeah.
The very beginning of the book, it says, all of the general coding guidelines and the chapter-specific coding guidelines can be found in the beginning of the book.
Okay, simple enough. Head to the front.
Seems like it.
And, well, the source gets even more specific than that. It actually highlights page numbers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it mentions that this initial section, which has both, the big general rules for the whole code set and the first mention of the rules for each chapter, it spans pages G3 through G38.
G3 to G38. Wow.
Yeah. Think of it like the main rule book right up front.
Okay.
If you need those big principles or you want to see all the chapter rules in one go, that G3 to G38 range is your starting point. These are the rules governing how you assign codes.
Right, like sequencing codes, how to use notes.
Exactly. All that fundamental stuff.
But here's where it gets kind of interesting, I thought. The transcript makes a point about the chapter-specific guidelines having a second location.
Ah, okay. Where's that?
It says they can also be found in the tabular. Now, tabular, just to clarify, that's the main chunk of the book, yeah, where the actual codes are listed.
Precisely. The main body, chapter by chapter, code by code. That's the tabular section.
So what's fascinating is this repetition.
Yeah, it's intentional. The source clarifies, if you go to the very start of chapter 1 in the tabular section, infectious diseases, you'll find all the chapter 1 specific rules repeated right there.
Before the codes even start.
Before the codes start. And it's not just chapter 1. The transcript explicitly says it's the same thing for chapter 3, and it's like that all throughout the tabular.
So every single chapter.
Every single chapter in that code listing part basically has its own rule set right at the beginning.
Okay, hold on. Let me just make sure I've got this map clear in my head.
Sure.
The general guidelines, the ones applying everywhere, they're only in the front, that G3 to G38 section. But the rules for specific chapters, say musculoskeletal or circulatory issues, those are listed up front in G3, G38, and they pop up again right before their own chapter's codes in the main tabular part. Is that right?
That's exactly it. Nailed it. And good. Knowing both spots is, incredibly practical.
How so?
Well, think about it. If you're doing a general review of guidelines or looking for some broad rule, that front section is efficient. G3 to G38, all there.
Okay.
But say you're deep in coding a specific condition. You need the rules just for that body system right now.
Yeah, you don't want to flip back and forth necessarily.
Exactly. You just flip to the start of that chapter in the tabular section, and boom, the rules you need are right there, right next to the codes you're about to use, in context.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like it supports two different ways of working depending on what you're doing.
Precisely. Two workflows supported by the book structure.
Okay, so connecting this practical where to the bigger picture, the actual task of coding, what's the main takeaway from this source's detailed roadmap?
I think the key takeaway is that the ICD-10-CM book, it isn't just a massive list of codes. It's actually structured with these specific access points for the rules. the really critical rules that govern how you use those codes.
Right.
The source confirms the book gives you a clear, deliberate path to find the guidelines. You don't have to guess or hunt around.
Good to know.
And it really underscores the basic principle.
Yeah.
Coding correctly absolutely depends on finding, understanding, and applying these guidelines.
Okay. So final thought then, something for you listening to maybe chew on.
Mm-hmm.
Considering these chapter-specific guidelines are important enough to be put in two separate places, collected at the front and copied at the start of each chapter, what does that deliberate repetition tell you about just how vital they are? And maybe, how might that influence your approach the next time you need to look one up?
All right, guys, thanks for listening. To learn more about medical coding or medical coding courses, remember to check out my website, midnightmedicalcoding.com.